Afternoon. We call the meeting of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners to order. Mr. Brown, has the meeting been properly advertised?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I see evidence thereof. Good to see everyone. At this time, we ask Mr. Mosley to come and lead us in our prayer and our pledge. We'd appreciate that. Please stand for those.
Let us pray. Gracious and kind Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and your bountiful blessings. We ask for the wisdom for this for this August body, Father God, as they deliver it to business community. We pray that you would be with them tonight, Father, and give them that divine insight that they need. We pray, Father God, that you would cover us as a community, and we pray, Father God, for all the workers who make up Liberty County, Father God. These and all the other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Bring one for the chipper. Miss Amanda Jeffers is here, standing in for Dr. Karen Bell, part of her team.
So with Keep Your Liberty Beautiful, we have our Bring One for the Chipper coming up starting December 26th, and the actual event will be on January 4th. And if you're not familiar with the Bring One for the Chipper, it is a tree cycling program. And so it has been, we're part of Keep America Beautiful and Keep Georgia Beautiful, and we're Keep Liberty Beautiful. And part of it's been for 34 years, they've been tree cycling trees. About over 6 million trees have been recycled so far in the past 34 years. So they turn them, you bring them in, and on January 4th, we will have a chipper there, and it will be turned into mulch. Also, the trees go into fish habitats. So it's very important for our environment as well that we do that. And then we're also giving away free tree seedlings. So make sure you sign up for those. So that is coming up starting December 26th through the 4th on January.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Normally, Ms. Bell would get with my guys from Public Works, and, we pick them up, as people put them out. So, I know you said January 4th, that's the day when the public could bring them there, but if we picking them up, let's say, some people gonna put it out on the 26th. Christmas is over and
Gone.
and they done. So, can't we take them over there then, or do we need to stock them somewhere, pile them somewhere, and then bring them over there on the 4th?
Right, so what part of the Bring One for the Chipper is starting on the 26th. You could take them to any of the transfer or the convenience centers. We have the signs already put out, so we are on the ball this year, a little ahead. So the signs are out there, so they can put them there, or over there at the Hinesville Recycling Transfer Station. We already have our chipper out there, and there is a little fence, and they can just be brought anytime they want. They could drop those off.
Okay.
At the convenience. Mm-hmm.
You want to add something, Mr. Brown?
No, I was gonna say, we'll work that out. I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll work
yeah.
that out so we can create the site a little larger,
Yeah,
so that y'all can have a drop-off
Yeah,
spot.
at my house at midnight on the 25th, I take mine down. That's been up since,
Sal's not coming to your house. You take the tree down there, too. All right. Thank you. The proclamation.
This is a proclamation, bring one for the Chipper Day. Whereas recycling reduces a waste stream, thus saving tax dollars and improving our environment. And whereas Liberty County is committed to reducing the waste stream, thus helping the state of Georgia reach a per capita waste disposal reduction goal. And whereas the Keep Georgia Beautiful Foundation, the Home Depot, Davy Tree Expert Company, Georgia Forestry Commission, WXIA 11 Alive, Ferry Morse Company, and Burpee Seed Company are sponsoring the 34th year of the Bring One for the Chipper recycling program. And whereas this program promotes the recycling of Christmas trees and the usable mulch material and provides county residents easy access to drop-off sites. Now therefore be it resolved that the Liberty County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim Saturday, January 4th as the Bring One for the Chipper Day in Liberty County, duly entered into the minutes of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners this 12th month, 19th day of the year, 2024.
If you want to come around for your photo op, commissioners, will you gather around, please, for this nice young lady? Oh, Miss Willie Lewis is not with you today. That's unusual.
It's got a little place in it, don't it? Can we
All
hold
right.
it up for you?
No,
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
he's not holding that up here.
That's
Sure.
better than giving you the rabbit.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
happy holidays.
You do
We
the
appreciate
same.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have Merry Christmas, you as well.
You got to Photoshop that picture now, because Commissioner Walden was trying to take away my dignity, my Christmas dignity. All right, finance, Ms. Samantha. While she's coming. No, sir. I want to recommend, advise, or whatever the word is. I am still hearing two things I heard fairly recently. We haven't spent all the money from the very first SPLOST we collected that was being circulated in the community. And even though T-SPLOST didn't pass, we're doing the projects anyway. I am at my wit's end about what we can do to help educate the public about how it works. But it doesn't work that way.
No, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen who are listening on the live stream, it doesn't work that way. We're in spot 7.
We are.
7. Now, I promise you, all of those SPLOST dollars are long gone on projects that are all around you. And maybe that's part of the thing about a report card every now and then to let folk know what, you know, the monies have been spent on. Maybe we need to bring, we've done some of that, you know, but
There's actually an annual report that's required every year to show how you spend those SPLOST dollars. Anybody that gets some of us and all the eligible municipalities have to publish that report in the news media and send it. So, and it is online. We have to publish it on our website too, so it's available.
yeah.
And it's in the audited financial statements as well.
Now, we do have money that is identified that we're gonna spend it on. I mean, it's still in the account drawing interest, but
Yeah.
maybe that's what people are talking about.
But they said the very first SPLOST. I said, my
No.
God, how many years ago has that been, Joey? Yeah.
No, sir.
How many years ago has that been?
And that would
Yeah.
have been 90-something.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, we don't bank it, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
We use it on capital projects, all that can be used for. So maybe we need to bring back, once again, a report card over the years to bring people up to snuff for those people who want to really know how that works. And when it comes to T-SPLOST again, there were some projects in the T-SPLOST that's in progress right now that we're going to bring to fruition, but nothing that was in the proposed T-SPLOST that has to come back on the referendum again whenever that time. And we're looking forward tentatively to November of 2025. But anything that's in the one that failed, it can't be done because the money's not there for it, you know.
Correct.
Yeah. Just had to say that.
And there were projects, that are funded in the first T-SPLOST that didn't have enough money allocated because of COVID and what happened with the cost of pricing, that those projects may not, are gonna have to sit and hold
Yeah.
and wait on additional funding from somewhere, because there's not enough money to do them and/or be cut back in some of those, so.
And once again, that was a renewal of the T-SPLOST. It was not a new tax.
Yes, sir.
It's already in progress. It was a renewal, so. But if you have questions, you know, call the county office, call Ms. Richardson.
Call me. Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Mosley, call somebody. Call your district commissioners and get the real understanding of what's going on, so you be an informed citizen, make informed decisions. So just had to say that. All right.
Pat's writing it down back there, so.
Yeah.
you have it.
Yeah. We want everybody to be on board. The county's doing very well. SPLOST, T-SPLOST has been, y'all know this, a blessing to us beyond measure, and to continue to do well, and with the growing community and the needs that we have, especially when it comes to infrastructure, roads, resurfacing, paving, traffic signals, all those kind of things, safety projects. We cannot do it without having the T-SPLOST. So,
Crucial funding. Yes, sir.
Yes, crucial. That's the word, crucial. All right, thank you. Unless, Commissioner, unless y'all want to add something to what I said, you're free to read this. You got it? All right. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm here this evening to present the county's October 2024 financial statements. Starting with the general fund. As of the end of October, we have collected approximately 17% of our budgeted revenues and have spent 29% of our budgeted expenditures. Our target percentage, being 4 months into the fiscal year, is 34%. So our expenditures are coming in less year-to-date so far than we expected, which is a good thing. We currently have, I'm happy to say, 2.9 months of operating expenses in our unreserved fund balance. This is up from last October, which we reported 1.7 months. We are certainly in that lean financial time of the year until we are able to get some property tax dollars rolling in. The general fund currently has $21 million in total assets and $2.4 million in total liabilities. Looking at the departmental expenditures, there are a few that are running ahead of schedule for October. Most of these are related to contract renewals and vendor payments that are required to be made at the beginning of the fiscal year. This skews some of our departments as showing over budget, but on an annual basis, these will all level out. This is the case this month for IT, our general administration and judicial administration, Superior Court, sheriff, and the jail. A few other variances that I wanted to point out are legal fees. For October, we had some additional legal fees that were paid to our labor attorney during the month, which is increasing that monthly average, so showing a little bit over budget. EMA is showing a variance due to overtime and expenses related to Hurricane Helene. These were obviously unexpected and unpreventable. Recreation.
And those are, excuse me, Sam,
Yes, sir.
those kind of fees are not reimbursable by FEMA or any?
Go ahead.
It's okay. Yes, sir. We're actually working on a FEMA grant reimbursement.
Okay.
They will hopefully reimburse the overtime paid to our county employees, as well as some of our physical damage and to our recreation buildings and use of generators and things like that. So yes, sir, we're absolutely trying to get reimbursement
So
on
will
that.
they have a special line item when that, for those revenues, or will it just enter in the EMA's budget as?
They're going to sit in the individual budgets, is
Okay.
my understanding, yes, sir. And we probably won't get reimbursement other than maybe the debris removal and pickup anytime soon. I mean, FEMA, it takes a good while to work through that process, but it will be reported in revenue the year we do receive it. But yes, sir.
And I think it'll be recorded under grants
Grants?
in the revenue line item when it comes in on that fiscal year. Right.
Excuse me.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, while we're on that, Ms. Richardson. if,
Yes, sir.
Out of these 12 items that's over budget right now, and you said some of them will level out, about throughout the year.
Yes.
Does that apply to all of them, or just 3 or 4?
It is, I'd say at least half of them.
Half of them?
Yes, but like some, like the EMA, that those hurricane expenditures probably won't recover for that department. We'll have to look at that as we get closer to year end to maybe move some funds around in the budget to cover that. The recreation they're showing ahead of schedule for their part-time employees. This hopefully will correct itself as we go throughout the year. They have 3 positions I think they're hiring for now. Hopefully can start soon, that can alleviate some of those hours for some of their staff.
So that's mostly overtime?
No, this is well, yes, sir. The part-time employees who are working a lot of hours, yes, sir. Yes.
When it comes to the storm expenses, man, we don't have a crystal ball, so how do we just budget the best we can for those kind of events?
We really, and we have not, counties generally I say not all of them, but I don't know of one that budgets anticipated storm
Yeah,
cost.
okay.
Right.
It's just something that would generally come from your reserves.
Going to come from your fund balance.
Fund
And that's the
balance, right.
reason.
Yes, sir.
A
That's
healthy
not
fund balance is
really-
important, okay.
That, you know, and I think Commissioner Walden said that before, but it is that money that is in that reserve account for unknowns
Unknown.
to help you keep cash flow going if you have to spend it. Right.
I noticed, Mr. Chairman, in Bullock County, I guess it was this week, I believe they had to the tune of $50 million that they were short of cleaning up storm.
Yeah.
Because the contractors that was working there left and went to Florida, and they just couldn't, they had to get what they could take. So, I don't know how we could possibly budget for it now. I'm thinking that maybe we need to, I mean, I know we got some type of emergency fund, but I don't know what we could do to guess what the weather's gonna do.
I mean, not really. I mean, the thing I think you do is strengthen your undesignated fund balance above the minimum level, and then that would help with both. The other thing is, I think on that situation, you're right, that they probably had a FEMA-approved contractor in there, and then they were counting on, like we were, that contractor holding those expenses, at least most of them, as they've done in the past, very large contracting opportunities. Excuse me, not looking for the cash flow back right away. And they know we're gonna get reimbursed by FEMA, and then we pay them. In that situation, I don't think they had that luxury. So again, the contractor, I think we talked about this before, the debris remove contractor could request right away for their invoices to be paid, but in the past, they have not.
Have not, yeah.
And there's not an indication that they're pushing to do that right now. I think one of the first, and they've cleaned up several times for us, but I think one time we paid them a partial payment. But that's the reason they help facilitate the reimbursement and the cataloging of expenses. It helps them get their
Yes,
money
sir,
quicker
get
too
money. Okay.
from FEMA.
Yes, sir. Those companies, or that company has been present at the FEMA meetings to kind of be proactive in getting all the documentation that
Okay.
FEMA requires and helping us facilitate that payment from FEMA, GMA.
I remember that worked real well for Liberty County.
Yes, absolutely. Helps us tremendously.
Joey, in Liberty County, we did reach the threshold where there would be FEMA reimbursement.
Yes, sir, we've already reached that. It's actually a threshold that's reachable on the state level. And so that's the reason we get those expenses in so quickly, the estimates in so quickly for damages, and it gets to be declared. And once it's declared, it becomes eligible for reimbursement.
Okay.
Kind of sort of, excuse me, Sam. I think I heard in the news the governor has created a committee, like a storm management kind of committee on that level because of all the storm that Georgia's had, to see how Georgia can better respond and better assist communities with the,
That'd be great.
yeah, I just heard that in the news.
It's probably needed, yes, sir.
It is.
Are you talking about
Chairman.
Georgia as in DOT?
The state of, no, the state of Georgia. Governor Kemp.
What I see happening, DOT can clear theirs and be gone, but there were so many of our roads, artery roads, dead-end roads, and whatever, that was taking some time to get in there because of other obstacles, so, I know, that's what I'm saying, if we need to try to plan for something like this, I guess we could.
It's hard.
Mr. Chairman,
Crystal ball will tell you when the next one's coming.
I did have one question concerning the storm and
Okay,
FEMA.
okay.
But- And you may have said this earlier, but do we have like a number that we've reached so far that the storm has cost the county?
Do you know that off the top of your
I
head?
don't, and I can get that to you. Bob has that.
About, you know,
Right.
what's the percentage you think we'll get back? 70%, 30%? If it's 13 million?
Hopefully at least 90%, if not 100. But I will send that to you. We've got it broken out into 3 categories. And Samantha, we've talked about all 3 tonight. And so it's 3 different pots of submission. You have to track them in, and I can get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Sam, just make a note, like Joe said, when it comes back, it'll be labeled grants, but we won't recognize that grants being, yeah. So make a note that
Yes, sir.
asterisk or something so we know that it's FEMA related.
Will do.
All right, thank you.
Okay, turning the page to solid waste. At the end of October, we currently have a net loss for the year of about $217,000. We've collected 21% of the budgeted revenues and have spent approximately 26% of budgeted expenditures. There are currently no departments exceeding their budget in this fund. The same is true if we flip the page to the special revenue funds. All of these are operating within their budgets for the year and are in line with our expectations. And last but not least, the sales tax reports. Sales tax 7, we recorded or received $1.15 million for the month of October. This is right on track with our monthly average since this tax began of $1.12 million. In total, we have received $20.1 million of sales tax $7 and have spent about half of that, around $11.4 million.
Say it again.
Yes, we have spent $11.4 million on our approved sales tax 7 projects.
Thank you. Which include disbursements to the cities.
Yes, it does, yes. T-Splost also had another good month of revenue for the month of October. We received $1,074,000, and in total, this tax has collected $46.5 million since it first started. And the county has spent $21.1 million on our approved T-Splost projects. And yes, these dollars definitely make an impact in the county. And these list of expenditures and the projects that we're doing is just, it's amazing. So, but yes, these taxes are doing really well, and I expect them to continue with Christmas and all the buying that everyone's doing right now. But this concludes my October report, unless you guys have any additional questions.
Commissioner Gillett, we need to come back at some point in time and talk about the Olive Street project. I know you had extended the invitation for others to participate.
Yeah, well, and I had thought that I thought that all of us had committed, or at least most of us did, but
What was that amount? Do you remember?
I don't know. I know I did 200 and Eddie did 200. I think that the total cost of that project was like 1.6 or something like that. I know that the city is doing their part, and construction has already started over there on that project. So
Yeah.
let's maybe
Okay,
the first of the year,
is it-
Mr. Chairman, we can
okay.
get with
Is it in our minutes somewhere, Mr. Brown, what we talked, we didn't get that, did we get? Okay,
I know we discussed it at one of our
okay,
meetings out there.
okay, we'll see, okay,
Probably maybe September
Yeah.
or something like that, but we'll.
okay, all right, okay.
But also, on that same note, we had a project to help the city of Flemington with theirs, and I think that check has already been cut.
Yes, sir.
And I think they were asking for more money, but there's things that I'm gonna need to spend some money on,
Yeah.
find helping them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be Wallace Martin, and I think there was some talk about resurfacing Joseph Martin and Old Sunbury Road.
If I'm not mistaken, Mayor Hawkins said DOT was greatly assisting with that.
That's what I heard, and
Yeah.
that's why I don't want to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I know that Wallace Martin Road's got to be
yeah,
addressed, and
yeah.
I added my 2 cents worth in, which was to put sidewalks on both sides, and the
Yeah.
sidewalks on one side. And,
They're working on Wallace Martin now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because he was quite happy that there was DOT participation in those projects.
DOT is helping, we saw the commitment from that, and then on Old Sunbury Road, they're gonna take the 119 that runs through the cantonment area off system. Once that project, they're gonna resurface it one more time for the military base. Once that comes off system, GDOT told them that they would help them with Old Sunbury Road. Now, when that might happen, I don't know, but.
You're talking about going through,
The main road going through the middle of the base is still on state route, is still on the state inventory list.
all the way to Pembroke?
Yeah, even including where the front gate starts.
DOT's taking it off of the,
They're gonna swap that out. They agreed that what they would do is to abandon that. If Fort Stewart was okay with it, Fort Stewart indicated they were okay with it if they'd do one last resurfacing on it before they pulled it off the inventory list, and then they would maintain it. And DOT said at the time, when that happens, they'll swap out and pick up Old Sunbury Road as a 119 connector.
Just the Liberty County portion, Joey, because that 119 goes all the way to.
Well, no, I'm only talking about the 119, I'm only talking about the Old Sunbury
From
Road
84.
being swapped out with what's in the military base right now. It's about
From
the
it-
same mileage.
Yeah.
would they still participate with Lawrence? Or are they just gonna say, no, we're not gonna do it no more? I mean, we use,
Yeah, well, yeah, they would. That road would not count as a county road mile, though, to qualify for LMIG funds anymore, but
the city of Flemington needs to.
that, they would need to start planning for,
Right.
yes.
Well, there's so much changing down there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's, there's a lot of growth in that area. A lot of land mass is still out there that they can build on. And, one thing that I've noticed, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, is, Joseph Martin and Wallace Martin, there's about 70% of the traffic in there are school buses. And I think it'd be nice, to ask for a little help. Mr. Chairman, what, have I already said something out of line here?
No, you haven't. But, yeah, we're saying, 'cause, I happened to go to that meeting the other night, and they're talking about growth and all they have to manage and their budget and blah, blah, blah. So everybody's singing the same song, so just a matter of, nickels over here, nickels over there kind of thing. So that's why we kind of chuckle, because they're singing the same song over there about having to watch their budget and need to expand, need to build more schools and all those kind of things. So we're all in that growth spurt.
Well, I mean, there's some kids that's walking in there in the road.
Yeah.
That's pretty important to me.
Yeah.
Traffic is slow down, so, any help they give, if y'all listening out there, follow on that, that's what
They're listening.
proposal is. I'm sorry for taking.
That's quite all right, sir, quite all right.
Go back.
Quite all right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have
Go
a
ahead.
question concerning, back to Flemington. Did we decide what we're gonna do with solid waste with them?
That's coming back to you in your January meeting, the final Culbertson report, and that, there'll be a recommendation in there, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
We reviewed that this past week.
I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Mosley, have y'all sent that letter to, that company in Riceboro yet, putting them on alert about?
Have not, because right now, it's still in transition. The new leadership hasn't taken hold yet of who's going to be over that mill for IP. And so I'm trying to find that out, short of sending it to Delaware.
You want to have a hand delivered?
I don't know, we'll put him on that spot.
Matter of fact,
Yeah.
let me handle
I'm being facetious.
Mr. Chair. Go ahead.
Ms. Samantha,
Yes, sir.
so my last question I'm gonna ask on this issue for this year. Are we in good standings, or do we have a good agreement with municipality that owes us funding?
Yes, sir. We have received some large payments from the one that had not been paying, and they have stuck to their verbal agreement thus far. Yes, sir. It's pleasantly surprising.
Chair, I just have I guess, a question and a statement about T-Splosh. Of course, we all know on the November ballot that T-Splosh didn't pass, and it expires September the 25th of next year, correct? So the earliest we'll be able to put that back on the ballot, if I'm not mistaken, is when, November
November of next year.
of next year, 2025, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. With that being said, do you have any type of projections of the amount that should be allocated from, because, I mean, we've, like you said, from 2020, we're at 46 million. And of course, we all know the importance of all the splosses, from E-Splosh to T-Splosh to regular Splosh. Do you know roughly at the projection that we're at now, what we'll be able to collect to September?
Yes, sir, I can run that for you.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I do.
Right, and the
It's-
reason why I'm saying that, you know, of course the people voted, you know, but honestly, I think people voted off of the, because that ballot, I think everyone knows that ballot had a whole lot of stuff coming from the state that I think kind of had a lot of people, they weren't educated enough to really understand what they were and what they weren't voting on. So I think from our standpoint, like I'm looking at our website right now, and whenever you click on it, me personally, I think the first things that should be on there is Splosh. T-Splosh, regular Splosh. I mean, I'm on the website, you click on it, first thing it says, with all respect, Mr. Chair, I love your quote, but the first thing you see is Liberty County proud, which we all are Liberty County proud, but I think when people go to look at that, they want to see the numbers. And if they see pictures of projects and pictures of where the money is going to, I think that makes things a whole lot easier for people to understand where the money is being used, and that, honestly, I know even prior for me sitting up here, man, we have ran a tight ship. Respectfully to both the Josephs, but but seriously, like we've, you know, we have never been up here, you know, using money that we didn't never need, you know. And of course, you know, what was that, 6 years ago, 7, 8 years ago? It was very, very tight up here. And I remember, I think that was 6 years ago when Splosh fell, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
So I think if we do a better job with just educating them, and, you know, and honestly, I think we just need to go to the KISS method. I think we all understand what that is. But honestly, I think if we do pictures of the projects that we're doing, the road projects that every commissioner up here has done multiple road projects, sidewalk projects. You know, Commissioner Walden's he's discussing about other sidewalk projects. I think if we do that, I think that will kind of really help with the marketing standpoint. That's it, Mr. Chair.
I think that's the track we're on. The thought is that we'll get together first of the year and start the campaign again.
Right.
And I think because it's good to have Mayor Clancy in the audience, what we can do is, you know, not only put it on the county website, but have each city put those projects on their websites too. So wherever folks are looking, they can see the projects that are done in Midway and Riceboro and Walthamville and so on and so forth. Because we were very careful, very strategic to plan projects for every section of the county, so no section of the county was left out. So, you know, we're taking some good notes from you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good notes.
Mr. Chairman, is that much traffic or that many views on the county webpage?
I don't,
that,
you know.
That would make a...
That I don't. That I don't know. Yeah. Some people go there, I know. Yeah. But we're gonna have a full court press, is that it?
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. In today's age, like social media,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, from honestly, all of us are of age, so we do Facebook, but there's so many different, from TikTok to Snapchat. I'm telling you, that's where the views are as well. And,
Yeah.
and
All of the above.
And
All of
again,
the-
I don't get paid to do that, but that's
All of the above.
what I'm saying is, whatever way we can reach this community, we need to do it. And I think if they see what we're doing with the projects and everything, It'll help from every last angle.
I'm on the commission. Every time I ride by the health department site, I look at that SPLOST sign every time. Can't miss it, really. I look at that sign.
Right.
Down there in Trenton.
But also, we have to understand, like, we look at it because we're in government.
In tune, yeah,
And honestly, I think we need to look at updating those signs.
yeah,
And we never came up with a T-Splosh sign
yeah.
for the projects that,
No, we
that
don't have
that
a
we did
T-
with T-Splosh.
We don't have a T-SPLOST sign.
And with we have a T-Splosh sign?
I said, we don't have, I never thought about it. We don't have a
Right.
T-SPLOST sign.
And honestly, with all due respect, our Splosh signs, the only reason why we updated those is because I pushed for the update for those.
Yeah.
And that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's time to move forward with that as well, sir. Marketing has to change
Yeah,
all the time.
has been enhanced.
Right, it has to be enhanced. With all respect, that's the reason why certain companies make it and some certain don't.
Duly noted. Last finance question. Because of the storm, we budgeted for solid waste, and I do know because of the storm, I'm sure our convenience centers had more volume than they normally would have had. So is that something that's going to skew our budget for solid waste when it comes to the convenience centers and what they've had to manage or handle? Or no?
Probably so. As you know, though, most of the yard debris was left, because you see it in the tonnages that were picked up.
Yeah.
But I would imagine there was an escalation in there.
All those wood fences around town, did they bring them to us?
No, they would have brought those.
Did they
convenience
bring
center,
those up?
Probably.
There was a lot of them laying
Probably.
laying around. I just wonder, once again, we don't have a crystal ball. We try to budget the best we can, but I knew a lot of that debris, that kind of debris, found its way to Gum Branch and Joseph Miller and to the one by Isle of White. Yeah, quote, yeah. Just,
Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
Back to T-Splosh, I've been getting questions about bias failing the referendum this time. Will that affect the completion of the Liberty County bypass? Does that have any effect on it?
It will not, no, sir. No, sir. There are no funds that were committed to that project. Oh, that's an all-state funded project now. And in fact, that contract's already been awarded. And it's just waiting on those to proceed from the state. So they're fixing to start construction.
That's the way I understood it, but I wanted the public to hear it
Yes,
so
sir.
they wouldn't be so concerned about it.
Yes, sir.
But I want them to be concerned about it. Enough so that they'll support T-Splosh. I'm kidding you. Again. Now, Joe, I know we had money in SPLOST for some planning for, I say, phase 2 of the bypass.
There was money projected in the splash number
Yeah.
2 for a concept plan for phase 2 of that,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
That would cut
We
between
did do
E.D.
that.
Cooper and Highway 84.
But did we do anything at all in the failed T-Splosh for phase 2?
That's where it was. There was money embedded in that for the concept plan.
Yeah. I thought we had it in SPLOST.
We do not, no,
Do
sir,
not?
not in
I
Splash. It
remember-
was in T-Splash.
I remember Mayor Brown and I talking about that.
It was in
Is it in
T-Splash.
T-Splosh? Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Didn't mean to keep you so long, but.
No worries.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Long.
Mr. Brown has told me several times today that Georgia Southern football game is at 7, and I better hurry.
So I'm sorry, ma'am.
So I'm gonna run through this pretty quick. I'm not gonna hit every item. The Islands Highway box culvert's moving along. There were some issues with the lights. A lot of it has to do with their solar powered, and one of them's in the shade, and just not getting enough daylight and enough sunshine to keep it going, but we've had some good conversations with their subcontractor. They've got people sitting out there sometimes overnight trying to make sure those lights are working. That way we don't run into an issue like we did on Monday morning, where we had the lights go out for about 2 or 3 hours. That way we don't have an issue out there. But that is in the works, and that's going on. The contractor is working on pickleball courts. That is moving along. We've issued contracts on the water system west of the railroad. They're getting all their insurance certificates and everything on that. That's taking a little bit of time because there are some railroad insurances that are included in that. and policies that they've got to do that are special for this particular contract. So we should be getting those back probably the week of Christmas or the week after Christmas, and then we'll be getting on that project next year. Most of our other projects are moving along pretty good as far as construction goes. We did take bids today on the Jones Creek Recreation Pavilion and everything that's going on out there. We also evaluated those. We got 2 proposals, one from RL Construction, which is the same contractor that's working on the pavilion at Middle Park, and Taylor's Creek, which is a company that has a lot of projects with us already. The recommended bidder is going to be RL Construction. Their price that would be for the site work and the pavilion, that'll be similar to what we have already. The only thing that'll be different is roof line. It's going to look a little bit more antebellum. It's about $818,000 now. Delisa still has to do the MWBE requirement, and we'll be bringing that to you at the your January meeting. So
Trent, only having 2 bidders, is that to be expected, or is that different from 3-4 years ago?
Right now, it's about typical. Yeah. So sometimes we're getting 2 or 3. It's a relatively small job in our community right now. You know, there's a lot of other big jobs that are going on, and there's a lot of things that are bidding out right now with, you know, a lot of ARPA funding needing to be awarded by the end of the year. So there are a lot of things that are out there being bid. So, and then you also have a lot of contractors that are working, and they're having to balance projects they already have and the bonding amounts that they can do. And, you know, they're picking and choosing which ones they're bidding on. So.
I remember the days when they couldn't do that, but now they can.
Now they can.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing, you know, and our prices were similar. One was a little higher than the other, but, you know, our prices were a little bit more than what we were expecting. We were still looking for a little bit of extra money that we don't have budgeted for. But once we get that and we have the prices, or we have the recommendation from Ms. Delisa, then we can bring that to you in the January
Did
meeting.
I hear somebody on this side?
Mr. Chair, you know, we implemented that MWBE policy, roughly 10 years ago? I have a request that we revisit it to make sure that it's up to par for current times. And more importantly, and Mr. Long, I think I've asked you in the past, you know, about the numbers.
Yes, sir.
How much money? I hear these projects. You know, we're giving millions of dollars to this company, $1 million to this company, millions. And I know we talk all the time about, okay, well, they are meeting the standards with the participation. But like, I need numbers.
Yes,
I think we all need numbers. I just want to see how much.
So is that, I mean, Mr. Brown, you may want to chime in on this a little bit, because that may be, so I'm not involved in all the numbers. So like some of our buildings, I won't have those numbers for, like the Public Works building, I won't have the numbers. The fire station, I won't have the numbers. The health department, I won't have the numbers. So I won't have all those numbers. Now, I can give you the numbers on the ones that I'm working for.
Okay.
And I have produced those numbers in the past.
To who?
I gave you a copy, and I also left some copies with in the office for everybody. So, but I can get them out again. They're over a year old, so I need to update them. So give me a couple of weeks, and I can update those, because I got a lot of people on vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not now.
Yeah, so
Obviously, I'm saying
I've
it's
got
all
the
time.
numbers, and we don't track it, you know. When you ask for it, we go back and we try to get
Right.
the spreadsheet together.
Okay.
And we met with Delisa,
Okay.
Mr. Mosley and I did, and so she's prepared some suggested changes for y'all. And I think you can double check with her, but I think she'd be prepared to come in January and share those. And she would be, I speak for how far she can go back, but I'm sure all those things go to her as a pay request comes in, so she's able to track the exact dollars that go to the firms, and she probably can produce a breakout.
Okay. Right, and I honestly, I think we need to have those numbers on at least a quarterly basis to make sure that the policy that we put in place is being implemented and.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, in all of our contracts,
Exactly.
yeah, in all of our contracts where the MWBE policy applies, we actually have the entire ordinance for MWBE policy with all the forms embedded in our front-end documents. So it's embedded in every one of our contracts.
Understood. Like, we hear that, but what I'm saying is the numbers, like.
Yes, sir. I understand.
That's the only thing.
Yes, sir. But I'll pull my numbers and route those back through the county administrator's office to you.
Hey, Ms. Mosley, let's try to program her for the mid-month in January. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Last but not least, a lot of the LMIC stuff is going on. We're starting our projects on Freeman Grove Road and Sunshine Lake Road. If you wanted to talk to me about that tonight, Maxie, or not.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Trent, could you give us an update or give me an update where we at there?
Yes, sir. What we're doing, we're starting the construction plans for redoing Sunshine Lake Road and Freeman Grove Road. Basically, what we end up doing is we're going out there and we identify the areas that need to be patched and fixed, and then we prepare a set of plans to put out on streets to repair. If we got a deep patch, if you do some milling, do an overlay, and then get some bid documents together and get a price for you guys to consider to do these particular projects. And the two that I'm working on specifically are Sunshine Lake Road and Freeman Grove Road.
So, we need to give you permission to move forward with that, or?
Yes, sir, that would be best.
How do we handle that, Mr. Chairman?
You know, I'm a little fuzzy.
Yes, sir, generally you guys just tell me to go ahead and go to work, and I go to work.
Don't I recall, though, we talked about a month or 2 months ago about Limerick and we were looking at several streets,
Yes.
and then bring me up to Spar. I'm kind of from that point
So
on.
Villages of Limerick,
Yeah.
we've got a contract on Villages of Limerick.
Okay.
So that is already under
That's
contract.
already, okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay.
And that contractor is going to be starting that job.
Okay.
Late January, early February.
These are in addition to that, okay.
Yeah, these are in addition.
Okay, all right. I wanted to make sure okay.
So I guess to answer his question on the others, it would just be the authority to go ahead and have him do estimates, because we would need to bid that job, and then it would come back to the board to award.
That's right. Okay. Just, that way you just tell me to go ahead and get some prices together for you, and then I can get that go.
Right, well, the sitting commissioner's here, he said, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion and give Mr. Long authority to go ahead and move forward with these additional projects that I have requested.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Motion and second that Mr. Long is given the okay to proceed with those
Yes, sir.
Limit Road projects. Any further discussion?
We'll do it. That's all I have tonight.
All
I'm
in
trying to
favor,
keep it
show
short.
of hands. All right.
Yep.
Opposed, all right.
Yep,
Okay, so-
I'm trying to leave too early, aren't I?
all right.
Yeah, I got one for you.
You know,
Wait,
Commissioner
I'm trying to go.
You know.
I can't see this end of the podium out here.
He's saying go Eagles. Yes, sir. Hold on, I think Commissioner Stevens did. Okay.
Trent, Bambi's that lives along, the Dares that live along Bill Carter Road, they're very disappointed.
Yes, sir. My grass guy has not shown up yet.
They don't have.
So, yes, sir. And it's just some dead dirt along that road. It's not that I haven't been trying. I just don't have the guy hadn't come to do it. And I'm trying to pay him to come do it. So it's,
Someone else to come do it?
yes, sir. I'll see if I can't find somebody else to come do it. So, you know, it's just having a hard time getting anybody out there to try to do the grass.
One other thing, Mr. Brown, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the rest of the commissioners, I've noticed in the rural area, in certain places now, we've got trees growing up in the ditches.
Yes, sir.
About that big now, some of them now.
Mhm.
Years to come, they're gonna be that big. We need to take a look at that issue.
Yes, sir. We can ride and try to make a maintenance list for, the road department to try to look at. I know that Clinton does actively look at some of the ditches and try to clean them. But I can try to help supplement that for him.
Here, put that on your next report, if you will, because you know, not to belabor the point, but I thought they had maintenance schedules for the ditches, so why would a tree?
I need.
I was gonna ask the commission, is this roadside ditches or is it the outfall ditches?
Roadside.
Roadside? Like
Oh,
from
yeah.
somebody's house out to the road? And trees are growing up in front of their houses and would the road department go out there and do that?
If it's in the right of way.
Right. And you got some of them sitting on the back slope, which that belongs to the county. Some of these trees are pretty
Pretty big.
sizable now, so how do we get them down now? I don't know.
Yes, sir. I know that Clinton does have,
Something we do need to take a look at.
yes, sir, I'll be glad to look. I do know that Clinton does have an active program looking at these, so I'll try to help supplement that for him.
Well, every time he tries to come into my district, the tractor's broke. That sidearm one.
Said every time.
Okay.
Yeah, he gets started. I thought him and Mr. Brown were talking about getting a new one.
We did talk about getting a new one.
Yeah, they need a
When it
sidearm.
break- when
If
it
their
broke,
sidearm's
we
not
only have
working, they
one from what-
do need a sidearm.
Yeah,
Huh?
Down, you can't.
No,
do
he
anything.
can't do anything, so
sorry.
Mr. Mosley
Okay.
might need to jump in.
Okay.
We're communicating.
Yeah,
The sidearm was talking about trees growing in the ditches.
remember he had a tractor that kept breaking, that was,
Tractor was broke down. I don't think he ever finished that road that was in my district, and it's been like 2 months.
They were waiting on a part to come
I
in
know,
for it.
but we need to
I'm
get a
gonna
new
double check, 'cause
tractor.
I'm gonna talk to him about the
We need
trees.
2 tractors, so
Yeah,
when
they
one
do.
goes down, we have a backup.
Well,
Or,
Like I said before, east end and the west end creek.
yeah,
their own,
if we could
I'll
afford it.
talk to him tomorrow.
okay.
I'll find out.
Give us some feedback, if you will. Commissioner Gill?
Yeah, I was just want to back up a little bit to Commissioner Jones' project. Do he need to obligate those funds? I know we don't have a cost associated with it, but does he need to obligate that?
We normally don't,
We don't obligate them until they become a
Yeah.
expenditure that is, liable. So, I mean, you don't know how much to obligate.
Yeah.
Because you hadn't even got an estimate.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get an estimate, and then it'll come back to you with a contracted price, and the board will award it.
But I was saying that because, I mean, this is his last.
I know, but there's no way to lock the money down
Okay.
to do that legally.
That's one
okay.
of,
Thank you very much. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas.
yes, sir.
Right.
All right, y'all take care.
Mr. Chairman, that issue that Commissioner Thrift was talking about and Commissioner Stevens, I know that piece of equipment that I think it's
Thought we approved him to get another one.
been tore up a couple of times.
I know, I called Clint last time, he said he was just waiting on one part, and I asked him if he needed a new one, he said no.
He
I
said
don't.
no?
I just need that part. So,
Let's, I know that, you know, a lot of times people say, we're waiting on the part, but, you know, really and truly, if it's something we need to contract out, Joey, and get it down and get it done with it,
Yeah.
let's do that, I mean,
I'll check, yeah.
you know,
I'll
just see what we gotta do to get them.
see how widespread that is.
Ground, grinder, to do whatever, the public's out here, so just make sure we do it.
Is it simply a
We need, yeah, we'll check,
machinery issue, or is it also a personnel issue?
don't know.
Oh, no, okay, all right,
Also don't know the magnitude of the issue.
okay.
I wanna double check that also.
Okay. Mr. Long just left, but I was gonna recommend Commissioner Jones, you and Commissioner-elect Blunt, y'all get together with Trent on that process. We all be on one accord, okay? All right.
But for clarification, Mr. Chair, we have approved those particular projects, correct?
You,
Isn't-
This is an addition.
you've approved the projects to have the estimates done and to get a bid to have them done, and then they'll come back to the commission and you'll lock down the money.
Yeah.
But you don't know, I mean, you can't really I mean,
I understand. I was just,
yeah, when the bids come back to you,
12 years,
the board will
man,
have
you
to
probably
vote on them, and that's when you will formally lock them down.
All right.
okay. Right, but, okay,
Right.
we understood. But those are the requests from Commissioner Jones
Correct.
that we are supportive of.
Yes.
Everyone on the commission.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
I just wanted that to be said.
All right.
Thank you.
USSBA Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience, Mr. Cameron Mitchell. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Very well, thank you.
So I work with the SBA, the Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. We work alongside FEMA during presidential disaster declarations, such as the one for Hurricane Helene. We have 3 different loan programs for not only small businesses, but homeowners and renters. For our physical damage loans, those are only offered towards businesses, and that deadline got pushed back from November 29th to January 7th. That's a loan for businesses to repair or replace damaged property. We also have something called an economic injury disaster loan, which is a working capital loan to help small businesses, small agriculture cooperatives, or small businesses engaged in agriculture, and most nonprofits meet necessary financial obligations that cannot be met as a result of a disaster. So if any business has lost any business or cannot afford to pay their normal expenses like their payroll, or maybe they have some suppliers who started charging more due to product costs, you're able to apply for that type of loan. Then we have what's called a home disaster loan. So that's a loan for homeowners and renters to repair or replace damaged real estate or personal property. These loans are low interest and long-term loans, so it's up to 30 years. It's depending on the applicant. For our home loans, we have interest rates as low as 2.8%. For our businesses, we have interest rates low as 4%, and then for nonprofits, 3.25%. But since these loans are for people who are in need and who have actually had a disaster, if you have credit available elsewhere, then we will also have low interest loans for you, but those rates kind of increase. So for home loans, it'll go from that 2.8% to 5.6%. For businesses, it'll go from 4% to 8%. For nonprofits, it'll go from 3.25%, or it'll stay at 3.25% actually. And those are for our physical damage loans. We're trying to get the message out to everybody before the deadline ends on January 7th. And then for our economic injury loans, that deadline is for January 30th. And those are for businesses and nonprofits. For businesses, we have them as low as 4%. And then for nonprofits, we have them as low as 3.25%. And even if you have credit available elsewhere, you'll still be eligible for those 2 rates. I'm going to talk about the loan limits for a second. For our business loan limits, it's up to $2 million, and that's in conjunction between physical damage and economic damage. For our economic damage, that's up to $2 million as well, but like I said before, if you're qualifying for 2 different types of loans, then combined it can only go up to $2 million. We also have a loan program for mitigation. So if your business or if your house has received a certain amount of damage, you can apply for a loan that's 20% of the total amount of the physical damage to your real estate or your property, including homeowners, lease owners, for improvements up to $500,000. We have a business recovery center and a disaster recovery center set up in Chatham County. That's the closest one to you guys, where we have FEMA representatives and small business administration representatives there to help applicants through the process. That's located at, I think it's the Savannah Entrepreneurial. I can get that to you guys, but we have one less than 30 minutes away.
It's on here.
Yes, and then yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So you're getting the word out.
Yes, I'm a public affairs specialist, so I work in conjunction with either the local governments or at schools. They have the small business centers. So we just get the information out to whoever we can, homeowners, renters, small business owners. And we understand that it is kind of late because the storm did happen in September, but we want to make sure the information's out before the deadlines in January and June.
Would you have been in contact with our emergency management staff?
Yes, we should have been in contact with them. I just replaced somebody named Glenda a couple weeks ago, so I'm kind of new to the.
It ain't your fault.
No, it's not that it's not my fault. I can still talk to them, but the thing is, I'm in charge of this county, Chatham County, all the way up to Trutland. Correct. So I'm working in conjunction with emergency management directors. I'm working in conjunction with the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers in each county. I'm working with the Chambers of Commerce, and I'm also working with the Economic Development Centers in these counties. We've hosted a couple webinars, but not in Southern Georgia. We're trying to figure out if there's an opportunity to have a disaster recovery fair down here in conjunction with like WorkSource Georgia and FEMA and different organizations that can help disaster survivors. Yeah.
I'm not sure, you got something, Ms. Brown? Yeah. I'm not sure in our area, and obviously you knew because we had to help it with Trutland County. The amount of business damage you would find in Liberty County. Now, I do know in this gentleman's district, there was some flooding in some homes that were damaged, pretty extensively, and I hadn't heard about it. I'm assuming they work through FEMA.
Yes.
I'm pretty. And FEMA was here. They had a center here.
Okay.
So they've been here. So I'm just wondering, though, would FEMA have shared, even though you weren't here, would they have shared your information?
They should have, because if they set up a recovery center, then we would have SBA.
There's a recovery center here,
Yeah, so we would have had SBA members there.
All right, and you're being live streamed now, so other folk they'll hear your spill.
Okay, that's perfect.
You might want to just give them a number in case they want to call you, how they can reach you if you do.
I do have a business card somewhere. Give me 1 second.
And make sure that Mr. We get his information to our EMA guys. It's got it? Okay. Is it on their website? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chair, while he's looking for his telephone number, whenever you talk about disaster and with small businesses, like myself, I'm a small business owner. I never had any like structural damage.
Correct.
But one of my locations was out of power for like 10 days. So, with that saying, a lot of my products, because of that, aren't, sellable anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just using that as an example, because like what you were saying, Mr. Chair, I don't think a lot of businesses here
Not that I've heard.
receive like structural damage, but the, being out of power, out of water, and stuff like that for so many days, I know a lot of people lost a lot of products.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's what our economic, it's called an idle loan. So that will be able to cover and replace those products that you've lost. But if they need more information, you can go to www.sba.gov/disaster. Or you can also call the customer service center at 1-800-659-2955. Again, that's 1-800-659-2955.
Thank you, sir, for the information. We'll make sure it gets out, and we'll make sure that our EMA has it.
Hey, Cameron.
Yes, sir.
You said you replaced Glenda. When she was here the last time, she said when she come back, and I guess she didn't pass you the message, that she was going to bring a bag full of money. So she didn't relay that message.
Where's the bag at?
I guess not, man. We ran off with it.
She showed us a picture. She said, I'll be back in 3 months with a bag full of money.
And she said, be sure to ask for it.
She left at the right time then.
Maybe that's why she left. She took it with her.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you for
guys.
sharing
Thank
with
you,
us.
man.
Yes, sir. All right, contract for services, City of Midway, and we're happy to have in our audience today the very fine mayor of the City of Midway, Mayor Laverne Clancy.
Mr. Chair and members of the board, as you're well aware, the City of Midway approached us several months ago about providing them fire services. And so tonight, we want to update you in terms of where we're going. The new contract that we're hoping that we can move forward on would be starting the services up for April. Originally, it was for January, so it'll be April 1, 2025 inception. As you're well aware, the response time would come from the Miller Park Fire Station. Fire Chief Darby will talk about the startup costs, the additional full-time employees that will be needed, as well as the unit that will be needed for provide this great service.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Before I do get started, I do want to just continue to ask the board, as well as Liberty County Board of Commissioners, all employees. Liberty County Fire Deputy Chief Christopher Morrison did lose his son in a vehicle accident. So I do ask that you guys continue to pray for him, for his family. We have started a GoFundMe, not related to Liberty County Board of Commissioners. It is a private GoFundMe. But please continue to pray for him, his family, especially during this holiday season. I would be wrong for not mentioning this. So, but moving into that, tonight I come before you. I was asked and authorized by the Board of Commissioners to go to the City of Midway to have some preliminary discussions in regards to potential plans and processes moving forward with county providing fire services. So that plan, I will display for you. A lot of this information will be refreshed, but I will go over it again for all of you. Year one, the only change, as Mr. Mosley did point out, is originally from what all of you have seen was January 1st. It is now April 1st, 2025 would be the inception. The response would come out of the Miller Park Fire Station for the short foreseeable future. There is initial startup cost. All those will be captured and will be talked here on further slides. It would call for additional full-time employees associated with the contract. And also one additional unit provided from the current fleet. When it's, I want to reiterate, when it says current Midway fleet, those are two trucks that the Liberty County Board of Commissioners already owns. One is a 1997, requires about $40,000 worth of repairs to get it back DOT worthy. The other one is a 2009, requires about $15,000 worth of repairs to get it back road worthy. After speaking with the administration side here, it is my recommendation that we do not move any money towards the 1997 truck to get it repaired, as it is already aged out. But the 2010 truck will help us move further until replacement vehicles can be made. Initial one-time startup cost. This is purchasing of equipment and materials that would need to be utilized on that vehicle, that 2010 truck, that current Liberty County Fire operates. This is also the bunker gear / turnout gear. It's the same thing, two different names. For these full-time firefighters, their SCBA masks, that's what they breathe through inside of fires, uniforms, and in this one-time startup cost, you will see down at the bottom, it does capture the $15,000 for repairs to that 2010 truck. So the one-time startup cost is $225,556 and 50 nope, even. Moving on, the allocated internal budget. This is something a little bit more familiar for all of y'all to see. This is where I took a percentage of the requested full-time employees that would take to handle the additional growth of our fire district. There was a percentage taken out on some of these lines. Others of them are solely allocated to the number of personnel. And some of that example is personnel uniforms. That is not a percentage base, that is personnel base. Where equipment maintenance, that is a percentage base. But for the internal budget allocations for salaries and annual operations, just to bring on the additional units and assets needed to support this contract, you're looking at $560,704. This is also on top of the initial startup cost. Moving to our next slide, this is a breakdown plan over your my proposal to y'all of the 5-year plan. This would allow us 2 additional firefighting staff, fire suppression staff, running out of Miller Park for FY '25 through FY '26. That's 2 years. FY '27, there's a lot of change, and you'll hear that more throughout the presentation. Some other players and partners may be able to come into this contract. So FY '27 is a year where things can be possibly reevaluated. But in FY '27 and '28, there is a increase to personnel. This is supervisory, adding additional supervisory. This is with the anticipation of opening an additional station located somewhere on 17 South. Span of control, I need to make sure that there is supervisory staff over the firefighters. And then in 2029, the final year of the 5-year contract, it would be increasing the fire suppression personnel again. As Liberty County and even the city of Midway continue to grow, our fire staff will need to be up there and catching up with it. So it's moving through this 5-year plan. It's also trying not to get behind the power curve. This is the 5-year startup or the 5-year cost plan, broken down year by year. The highlights in yellows are where you will, from the previous slide, where you'll see an increase to personnel. Salaries and benefits, operational costs, this is just the cost of doing business for fire service. You see in year 1, you have that one-time startup cost. Indirect costs is us to manage it, manage the budget, finance, administration. And then capital equipment, this is going to be for purchasing of vehicles and potential payments towards building of a new fire station.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Can we go back one more slide?
Yes, sir.
So capital equipment, that 200,000, that's set aside, Mr. Chair, to build a new fire station?
This would be as my understanding through discussions, would be through a shared project of multiple players paying into it, not just for a building, but possibly for, this is just showing their portion of the share,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Okay. Just want to get clarification, because
Did I?
in 2029, $800,000 is not going to get you.
No,
Nothing.
so yeah, let me help, because I'm
Here you
kind
go,
of
sir.
reading those numbers. So actually, that's a station loan that would, is projected to start payment in '27, to be completed in '26, start functionality in '27. And what you see is a 15-year bond payment that is laid out over 15 years to pay for that station at a rate of 4.25%. So that loan, that is a yearly bond repayment. It would go not much longer, but it would go beyond 29, but we're just laying out a 5-year plan for that. The apparatus cost, the capital equipment cost, is a old truck that we're gonna make work for a couple of years, and it's about a 1.5 year delivery time on the new vehicle now. So you would need to, you'll see that, but you would need to place that order in '25 to get that functional in really by '27. So that cost probably slips back 1 year now that we've moved out a little bit on the timetable.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
So the question, the board is, how do we make this work? It would need to be a 5-year contract. The city of Midway is committed to providing the payments for the first year through December of this year. What the city would need to do would be to request the county to levy a fire district, basically create a special tax district for the residents there.
Mosley,
Yes, sir.
Did you say for this year or next year?
For 2025.
2025?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Which would be equivalent to do the Midway operations. The tax, of course, will be collected by the tax commissioner, and it will begin to be part of the 2025 billing, which would hopefully go out in December. What are the key milestones in terms of dates? January, if this board so decide to choose tonight to move forward, would be contract preparation. Y'all will review the contract and then hopefully adopt the contract. March 25, we will put the notice out about a fire district millage on the assessment notice. April 25, as Chief mentioned, the contract period would start with quarterly payments, which Midway is committed to paying for the first year. And then on July of 25, also look at ordering the new fire apparatus. And also in September of 25, started the planning and design for a new fire station on Highway 17. And then on December, let the tax bills reflect the new special tax district. And what we're hoping tonight is that after seeing the presentation and getting their questions answered, the Board of Commissioners would.
Mr. Mosley,
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
on the tax,
Yes, sir.
the commissioners is not requesting
The city would have to request, yes, sir.
requesting,
They would have to request the Board of Commissioners to levy the tax.
okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I just want to make sure that was, yeah, okay, all right, okay.
Commissioner Thrift?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I had a question there. So that's what, like a 3-year lag time? If we start in 25, they're going to make quarterly payments
For the first year.
for the first year.
Yes, ma'am.
And then whenever the millage is levied on the tax notice for that district, then those taxes will come straight to the county
Yes, ma'am.
from
Tax
Says
Commissioner.
from Midway.
tax commissioner's office
Yes, ma'am.
will be paid to the county. And I assume you've ran the numbers to see about how much that millage would bring in?
Not yet.
So we don't know how much the millage for that fire district will be on their assessments.
You don't, because it will be based on next year's digest. Just like you will levy your millage based on your next year's budget, these budget numbers would be used at time of levy to determine how much millage is needed based on values of homes as of January 1st, 2025. And so we don't, you'd be basing it on an old digest, which would be
It'll follow
accurate.
the same template as we do the county taxes. just
Yeah,
whatever the
it would be,
digest.
if we looked at it now, it would be a higher millage than would be needed because we know there's gonna be growth
Right.
in that district. Yes, ma'am.
The other question I have is, if perhaps the city of Midway decided that they was going to levy a regular tax on their citizens, where would this fire, would it still come to the commissioners?
As long as we provide that service.
So the
So
reason,
would that, if that's approved and the millage is put on there for the fire district, and let's say 3 years from now, the city decides to put a start collecting taxes, what's the guarantee that the county's going to get that fire district money?
well, you wouldn't need it then, right?
You would
The
not?
fire district tax would cease and their millage would kick in to pay that. Then that would change because that money would go directly from the tax commissioner to the city. The city would then, your agreement would need to change. The city would then need to agree to remit proceeds to the county if they wanted the contract to continue.
Right, because we can't duplicate fund.
Correct. That's correct.
Right.
That's right, correct.
So,
Okay.
and with that being said, can we go back a couple slides? Hold on. Is it that one? One more. All right. Let's go with staffing. Okay, so, I'm in support of fire. That's been a hot topic since I've been up here. It was a hot topic since everyone else was up here.
No
But
pun intended.
this is my thing, I'm a number type of guy.
Yes, sir.
So when we talk about fire, we understand it's not just dealing with dwellings
Yes,
being
sir.
on fire. Majority of the calls are,
Medical or traffic accidents.
there we go.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying is, is it that we need another apparatus, or can we get maybe some SUVs to go do medical? And nothing against you all, But what I'm saying is, are we overly investing in fire when we need to invest in EMS?
Twofold answer for you, sir. So,
I understand y'all work together.
yes, sir, and we do.
Listen, I understand what you're gonna tell me before you say it out of your mouth, that you're gonna fight for everything for your department, and I appreciate that.
No, sir,
But
that's not the answer I'm going to give you. The answer I'm going to give you is we can invest the money into a quick response vehicle if, should the board choose to do that.
There we go, thank you. I
So,
appreciate you.
but two parts to that. So I gave you one answer. You do that, your ISO will change countywide, which is taxpayers' dollars paying insurance. So instead of investing the money.
Hold up. I've
Let
been
him
up here.
finish. Let him-
Instead of investing the money in these quick response vehicles, you invest the money in the fire truck and you take the toolbox wherever you go. Now, yes, absolutely, grand scheme, no dollar figure, it would be great to have quick response vehicles and fire trucks, to use these quick response vehicles to limit the wear and tear on fire trucks. But ultimately, since 2017 when I came in, we've gone from 58 square miles to over 302, and we've been able to maintain an ISO rating of a 4. Should that change, you're looking at changing insurance premiums to what your homeowners pay.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I remember, again, you were here at 2017.
Yes, sir.
I was here since 2012.
Yes, sir.
And I remember when we had this discussion about going full-time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a lot of discussion about, it was the whole, the ISO rating, blah, 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 this and that. It was gonna change, Now, it changed for some, but it didn't change for some others. And from my recollection, it was who your insurance company was.
Correct.
So I hear that, and I'm not here to debate that. What I'm saying is, when are we talking about the taxpayers' dollars and it running more efficiently?
Yes, sir.
Listen, I live in Hinesville. I get it, but a lot of times, even in Hinesville, whenever I see a wreck, I see a fire truck coming, I see the EMS coming.
Yes, sir.
And all of this. And what I'm saying is, I don't know. I have a pickup truck with a lift kit, and I have a slingshot. If I want to go somewhere fast, I'm not getting in the lift kit pickup truck. I get in the slingshot. So what I'm saying is that the most efficient way for us to start handling calls? If 10% of our calls are fire and 90% of them are medical, why don't we have more medical?
Yeah, can I bring us
Absolutely.
back to the Midway contract for a
Right,
second?
yeah.
Because I'd really
I
like,
understand.
maybe that's a side thing that we can work with you on
Right.
operational response, because what you're seeing here isn't geared to any of that at all.
Okay.
What you're seeing here is geared to, in 27, 28, potentially moving into a new station. It doesn't have anything to do with the response types or it's none of that. So if we go forward, in that 27 scheme, because the personnel goes up, it's because we move into a new station environment, and you don't need just 2 people in that station for response out on a truck. It goes beyond ISO, it goes beyond what you've got to have available to be able to roll a unit out, okay? Now, and so let me go back one more, or a couple of more, and talk about this for a minute. Possible contract modifications in 27. The reason that's up there is this, is right now you have a couple of dead zones in the county that your fire plan does not cover. One of those is E.B. Cooper Highway that the chairman talked about, and we're seeing an increase of wrecks on, and you're going to see development there. That is the only undeveloped area that's this paper company property between Hinesville and, between Waltoville and there. So we know there's going to be homes built there, we're already seeing that. That is a zero response area right now. We're having to try to run out of that from Miller Station and/or get Waltoville to respond to that area. We've got to do something to cover that. A station location, so you've got a need, aside from the Midway thing, a station location between Midway and Riceboro on 17 opens that gate for you so that you're able to offer the response you need there for fires and wrecks, but whatever. There are some other areas that are in need of fire assistance, and by not placing that station directly in Midway, you're able to offer a better response to your area, Midway's area, and there. Now, the other thing that if you're a citizen of Midway, and this is, remember, what you're talking about here is an obligation by the city of Midway potentially, and I'll let the mayor speak to that, to cover costs associated with his city. No extra cost outside to anybody other than the city limits of Midway residents, okay? So that's the only people that would be affected by that district tax, which is not uncommon. Clayton County does it, Fulton County does it. There are several respond to smaller cities. So it's not something new. Those would be the only people charged at this point, unless you decide to expand that later. But that is what those cost figures are associated with. It really is, you know, what you're talking about is trying to run a continued fire response without those increased costs for that station from Miller Park, which is not economical. It's not, I mean, whether you're running with a quick response vehicle, no matter where you're running from, you don't need to be running from Miller Park to the other side, to Tradeport West. I mean, that's just not it. You don't necessarily need to build every station within 10 road miles, like some counties have done, but you need to be more efficient, and more importantly, more timely response time, so.
And this is my thing. I know, again, we've talked about, I'm not trying to get in the weeds, but fire has been no pun intended, a hot topic up here.
I understand.
Since I've been here, prior to me being here. And we've had discussions with the city of Midway, respectively, city of Riceboro, Walterville, and everyone else. They decided at that time not to do it. We moved forward, and we came up with a plan, a strategic plan, to where the fire stations need to be. And the only thing I'm saying, have we had discussions with the other municipalities again? Because I don't want us to build another station and it's not being efficient for the ISO, I mean, the rating.
Yeah.
And then we're
So-
trying to move forward, but
Yeah.
every time we move forward, we're taking 2 steps back.
Yes, sir.
Because the reality is, if everyone was on the same page 10 years ago, we wouldn't have built the fire station at Miller Park.
Yeah, so I think, I know what you've done has been forward with none backwards. And so what we went ahead and did at the time is make the decision you had to make as a commission to take care of what you had territorial coverage over, and you did that. Have I gone to another city and said, do you want to participate in this other station? No, that would be probably premature.
It would be.
I don't want to force them into thinking the county's trying to take them over. But I will tell you that the positioning of this station would allow that. It is the most efficient place to put that station without attribute to territory. Get rid of the city lines.
Understood.
Get rid of the county boundaries. And that's the reason, you know, I think if the mayor had his druthers, he'd probably say, we'd like the station to be in Midway, right? That's really not where it needs to be for the efficiency of the taxpayers, if you look at it. Midway, Riceboro, Liberty County, that's not where it needs to be. And so, yeah, so I think so. I think we have.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a proactive move.
Right.
Yes, I think, well, again, these costs you see does not guarantee a buy-in by anybody. If Midway wants a contract and the commission likes these parameters, this is 100% Midway funded, Midway citizen funded. Okay. The reason the district tax is proposed to, and you may remember that the state has come to them and said, look, you're basically unprotected. You got to do something about that. We're going to pull your license. There is no, as y'all know, no way Midway at this point in time could enact a city tax and start collection in 25. They could not do that.
But
they,
again, I understand that, and you know, half of my family lives in Midway. That's not the issue. What I'm saying is, with the commitment after, say for instance, 3 or 5 years down the line, we've started to employ more staff in the city of Midway, because regardless of what we all think, none of us are going to be in these seats forever. So I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about in the future. New mayor, new council. they decide to, hey, why are we paying the county this type of money when we could do that ourselves for that money?
Mm-hmm.
Are we willing, as commissioners or whoever up here, to say, okay, all right, well, they take it over.
There's a risk.
With all due respect, these other 8 firefighters, we don't need y'all anymore.
Well, so
Are we willing to?
well, that's the decision the commission's got to make. I think the decision the commission's got to make too is if a city, be it Midway or whoever, better said this way, you represent everybody in the county. You represent, some of y'all represent Midway. I think at the time, if I'm in your seat and a city comes to me that you're contracting for fire service in because you know the people need fire service that in Midway they don't have right now, you got to make a decision as to what your constituents need. You got to get rid of the territorial lines and you got to say, is this a safety issue for the people that vote me in? And if that answer is yes, then it's, look, we don't care what you want to do. We're going to keep that tax in place. You are going to contract with us for that service, because here's what happens. Once you sign that contract, that becomes your territory. It's assigned to you. The only way that Midway or Riceboro can get that territory back would be for the county to forfeit it. So you're going to assume that you will control what happens to your constituents in the city limits of Midway at that point to do that. And I think it gives you what you need.
And I think,
Commissioner Frazier, I apologize, Chairman. You, at the last time I came before you, sir, you brought up a very valid point with what happens if they pull out at a certain point? And I'd be wrong not to remind. Where through the strategic planning of where this location would be, even if the city of Midway did pull out, unincorporated Liberty County, this would still be a spot that is needed. So yes, I would concur with you. There is the risk that should partners pull out, you either have to cut personnel or the county has to take over the full cost. So if that answers your question, Commissioner.
And probably, let me insert that, probably, by that time, if they pull out, with the growth of the county, you will still need those personnel.
Yes, sir.
Potentially,
Yes.
100%
Yes,
with
sir.
the growth, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just like we need family entertainment.
Yes, sir.
I think the mayor's here and Mayor, you can approach.
Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Chairman, for having me, and Commissioners. Second Monday in December, the council did vote unanimously to have contract with the county. So, that being said, we said, let me get it right, because I know we're being screamed. Mr. Bryan, Chairman, talked, 2025, we get with before February, so it'll be on this year tax base. That, Jamie, tax commissioner, we get it together, get the millage. Therefore, the city will only be out, actually, what 1 to 2, 3 months of building?
No, sir, it would be for the remainder of 25 after April, so
After April,
it'd be
right.
like 3 quarters instead of the whole year. Yeah.
And the city council, there was an agreement, and that's what.
And not
So
putting
we're
words in your
here
mouth,
tonight, huh?
but the city council, you're the spokesman tonight.
Right.
Has reviewed this and discussed this.
Yes.
And have made the decision to move on with contracting fire services for Midway with Liberty County, Georgia.
Yes,
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
I represent Midway along with the rest. I think you're making a real good decision. You know, not that the county wanted it, but you need our help, and we're there to work with you.
So, it's up to the commissioners tonight. If y'all want to do contract fire service for the city of Midway. You want us to put your fires out? Not only put the fires out, but if it's a medical emergency, come also.
And
Mr. Chairman, I had one question. Of course, I asked Joey about it today. Mayor Clancy, I hadn't seen him. Dan Fannin and Joey was under a truck down there. and the hydrants are in the areas, I mean, they're all working, they've all been tested.
So Commissioner Walden, personally, I cannot say that Liberty County has gone in and tested it. Through this contract, it will be that the city would need to continue to maintain those hydrants, those systems, get the hydrant information to our CRC so that way it can be map overlaid. And yes, we would come through and do our normal static and residual pressure testing on them, flushing. Should we come across one that is out of service or needs repair, I would notify county, but I would also notify the city of Midway, so that way it is repaired by the city of Midway.
Okay, and, of course, Commissioner Stevens can answer this. Y'all use dry hydrants down there for a long time, Commissioner Stevens?
We have not used them we don't have any existing now.
We have no valid recognized dry hydrants. They've all been replaced by a device called our turbo draft.
Right, so everything there, Mayor, is pretty much in your subdivisions, you've got hydrants in there.
Yes,
Does the city
and,
test those, late, I mean, do they go around and open up?
yes, and we just had them tested, I want to say, no, October,
Well,
September,
I mean, I know y'all
October.
not gonna go down there without water, Chief, I just, we wanna try to make sure this is a contract, and, we wanna make sure that if there's something not working, let's make sure it is working, you know, 'cause easiest thing to do here tonight is nothing, and I've heard it since Mayor Washington was in there, back all the way years ago, and, I've been out on calls at night, and Commissioner Stevens will be there, and Carol Chip and a bunch of them, so I know y'all are needing this, and as long as we can work with you, I don't want us to work against you, but I want everybody to understand that it's, you know, this is gonna be something that
Yes, sir.
it's gonna be for the best of your.
It's a collaboration.
Right.
That's all I have to say, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mosley, your
So, Mr. Chairman, we're not asking for a vote tonight, but what we would like to do is the nod to move forward, putting together the contract, which would have the city of Midway requesting the county to levy the tax.
You know, I would
That would be a- that would be a component of it.
rarely do this, but what would be different than what we have heard tonight? What's, other than a contract for someone to sign, what would be different?
Well, I mean, you normally don't,
Should not be any other difference.
there shouldn't be, but, I mean, we'll have that contract in January for you. So it's, normally what we would do is you would give the approval to go forward with the draft and any other language you want to put in that motion, and then you would formally say, we want to do it once you've got it. It's got to be reviewed by Midway, their city attorney and county attorney, and I'd hate for you to say, we approve to do it, and then it get bogged down. I don't think it will, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what do you need, Mr. Mosley? Brown?
He says consensus?
Yes, sir, to move forward.
All right.
I had one more question, maybe I missed it, but where are they gonna be housed at for that first year?
Up until 2027, Commissioner Thresk,
Miller
they'll be
Park.
out of the Miller Park
That
Fire
there'll be
Station.
Miller Park?
Yes, ma'am.
Running from Miller, and then after that, we're
They-
gonna,
They would move down to the
Build the
new
new
established
station.
station somewhere on Highway 17, south of Midway. It would
not
be-
in the city?
Not in the city. It would be relatively close to somewhere between the Barrington Ferry and your new EMS station.
And that money's coming from?
Okay.
Yeah, so it would come out of the district, at this
Tax.
point, with no other partners, it would be solely based on the district tax that's collected from that area. At this point, you're not making a commitment to build the station, you're not making a commitment to do the truck, those have all got to come back to you as they occur. But in this 5-year plan, if the district tax, if you choose to keep the district tax on, they would be picked up in that district tax every year for payments, if there's no other partners in it,
Okay.
okay? Bond issue, short end, I remember I said you'd issue bonds for
$200,000,
it.
yeah.
So it'll be, okay.
Yeah, you'd issue bonds for it.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
And then,
You know,
that'll be put on the splice.
Yeah, I know that, you know, with this is a good faith gesture, and, you know, I believe it's going to work out, you know, once we get the contract. But right now, what happens in Midway right this minute? Something happens right now. What's happening?
So Commissioner Gillard, as of right now and since 2021, when Midway volunteer the volunteerism started to struggle. I have nothing bad to say about the city or the volunteers, but since the decline of volunteerism across the board and across the state has happened, Liberty County Fire is currently, since then and now, and will continue until said contract goes into place, will respond to structure fires, fire alarms, vehicle accidents. What we are not responding to is the medical calls because we can't tie up those resources because then that's potentially affecting our primary taxpayers in our primary fire district. So that is currently what we are doing. Now, we are responding to medical calls inside the city limits of Midway if EMS is on scene saying that they need assistance. It does not matter if it's a lift assist, a gunshot wound, regardless, we're coming day or night.
So Midway is covered right now.
Correct.
Okay.
To clarify on that, though, because there has been a lot of phone calls, a lot of visitations, just because Liberty County is running those structure fires and those calls inside the city limits, because there is no current contract, the ISO rating that is issued to the city of Midway is the valid ISO rating. What we have at the county cannot apply to anybody inside the city limits of Midway. So should a contract take place and be executed between the two governments, then yes, through the stand-up, the development, the establishment of equipment and personnel, then a reevaluation will be done by ISO for the city limits of Midway to reduce that ISO rating. But as of right now, our ISO rating is not affecting the city limits. And to make that clear, it's not signed contract ISO changes right then and there. ISO does take a process for that to take some time. You could be looking at about a year from the time a contract gets signed before you might see changes in ISO because you have to show establishment, historical records, and data.
And on top of that.
Yes, sir.
Is according to what insurance company you use. Because again, even before you were our chief, we went through this.
Yes, sir.
And it was told, okay, we expanded fire. People in your district and everything else, that the rating was gonna change. And then it went from it being guaranteed that it was gonna change to
Commissioner,
possible.
But most of them did change.
They did change, sir. Yes, sir.
They mostly
yeah,
came down.
and we kind of gave that disclaimer, didn't we?
Well, there were two.
We started giving a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Because at first, how it was presented to us, that
From the very first day I ever talked about it.
Yeah.
Several years ago, it was not all about ISO at all.
Oh,
It was about, houses were burning and calls to medical emergencies and wrecks were unanswered. There was nobody to go.
Yeah.
That was the primary reason for putting a fire department in place and a response.
That's what I remember.
Yep. ISO was if it happens, that's great.
Yeah.
And it did. I mean, I think Isle of Wight's ISO
really
went from a
benefited.
10 to a 4, which was very substantial.
That was my question. I mean, all of that will work itself out. I was just wanting to know that our friends and fellow citizens of Liberty County got coverage. They got coverage as
Yes,
we
sir.
stand here talking.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Rest assured, Commissioner Gillett,
That was my question.
yeah, rest assured, we made sure that happened, that those folk had some coverage. We didn't
Yes,
want,
sir.
because regardless, they're Liberty County citizens, so.
Because, I mean, after all, Clementine lives down there.
Well,
The mayor said you forgot about him.
And I 100% concur. And I do push the message, Commissioner Frazier, that ISO is not required for insurance. So there are insurance companies out there that do not use ISO. I do push that info out there. That's between the property owner and the insurance company. So yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
So, Mr. Chair, I stand corrected. We would desire the board to have an affirmative vote to move forward for the preparation of the contract.
All right. Chair, entertain the motion that we move forward.
Mr. Chair.
Second.
Yeah. All in favor, show of hands. All right. Let's move forward.
Chief Duffy, put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
With the old engine that you say you're not gonna put any money into,
Yes, sir.
the pump on that truck is good, right?
It is good. Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Mosley,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to see if we can get that truck turned over to the Department of Public Works.
Well,
You
actually.
remember years ago?
Yeah,
Years ago.
well, he didn't tell you though, so
Okay.
those two are sister, that truck that's not in such good shape is a sister truck to a truck that we are using that you can't get parts for anymore. So the good news is we are gonna be able to keep the truck we got running
Okay.
on there, so, but yeah, I follow you, your thought there too.
We do on a regular basis assist road department with, I think you were probably leading to culvert cleanout.
Right, yeah.
We do. We do assist with them with that. And that'll continue to happen between our fire department and Public Works.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Chief. Let me go ahead and say this
Thank you. Happy holidays.
publicly to the city of Riceboro. We would love to sit down with you to have some initial discussions about the future of fire services in Liberty County, Georgia. No decision can be made tonight, but let's at least have some conversation because, Chief Darby, not put you on the spot, but we know that the same obstacles that Midway is facing, Riceboro is facing those same obstacles. There's no secret. There's no secret. So let's not wait till things get critical to talk about it. Let's start talking about it now. Once again, being proactive, as you were saying, Commissioner Frazier. Okay. All right. I said it on live stream. All right. Administrative report, Mr. Mosley.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, you have in your packet some information that Maria has provided on upcoming ACCG classes and also about the annual meeting. So ask that you would review that material. And if you need to take any classes to work with Ms. Tart with that. Want to give a provided update on our tax bills. We were informed that by the Tax Commissioner Office that they've resolved all issues with Department of Revenue and the tax data had submitted to the Tax Commissioner's vendors for printing. At this time, we don't know when those will be sent out, but that issue has been resolved. Our annual Commissioner Plan Retreat, as we did on last year, we're asking the board to give us some dates and times that we can start moving forward with our planning retreat, as well as ideas. Give them to me, Maria, Joey, any one of us, so we can start compiling that
Commissioners,
list.
don't you agree that it's best if they give us some dates and we just select from them?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
When did we used to do it, what,
February,
March,
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah. I think the month of February.
Yeah, just give us some dates.
And my ideas haven't changed, so whatever I've been saying for the last 12 years. just put it back on there.
And the one thing, Mr. Chair, is that the Board of Education will be having a special election in March for East Blosh. And before proceeding forward, we met with the Board of Elections, and what they want to know from the Board of Commissioners is, do y'all want to share in half of the election costs for the Board of Education?
Is that the only item on the ballot?
No.
Yes, sir.
It
They
is.
want to wait to November, we might.
Y'all shared it last time with them.
We shared last time?
I'm just letting you know what.
It could have been on the
yeah.
ballot this
Yeah,
past
we
time.
could have did
Tell
it
them to just
last
send
time.
us a bill.
And pay up front.
On that note, Mr. Chair, we have, Mr. Brown asked Samantha and I to work with the chairman and Rhonda on putting together some scenarios for cost, getting back cost, and we have put together some information. We want to submit that to the county attorney to put that in a new, in a government agreement, and bring it before this board to look at and review and
Okay.
adopt.
Okay.
What is it, 3 of them and the chairman runs this time?
Well, this will be for that East Blosh. This is a special
No, I'm
election.
talking about on the next election.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be three as chairman.
won't run until
I'm
the
trying to think
next
who
year.
runs.
Next year.
Right, it would be 26.
It's the municipals next year.
Would you have that, on the same ballot,
Well,
chairman?
well, the school board can elect, if I'm wrong, correct me, to have East Plus on a ballot by itself, or they can combine it with, do you all run next year, Mayor? Yeah, with some of the municipal elections. But I think they were looking at having it
By the-
as a single issue, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Which all,
If
Yeah.
we did that in the past.
yeah.
And that
I
we-
think their thought process is that it heightens their level of getting it passed if it's a single item as versus combining it with the municipal elections. It gets caught up in other politics as versus, yeah. But we'll talk, yeah. But you want to have some language in there about reimbursement, all those kind of things?
For the, well, yes, sir, they wanted to know this before putting together a intergovernmental agreement
Package,
for
I
y'all
think
to
it's a
adopt and for the
consensus
Board of
Yeah.
Commission, Board of Education to adopt.
I seem to gather if it's a single election, then the thought is that it should be
On them.
their,
But they could have did it the other way.
but if it's with the municipal, that's different, you know, but,
Be sneaky about it.
yeah. Am I hearing you all right?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, yeah, I mean, if we don't have not, you know, a dog in that fight, there's no sense in us, messing with that.
Peter might be listening.
Yeah. And Joey did remind us that in the past, I guess, we did partner, so.
And it was a single last time.
Partners.
And it was single last time too?
It was half. It was a single last time.
We
Mhm.
weren't
Otherwise,
partners when we was trying to build that library.
yeah, if it wasn't a single by itself, there wouldn't be any charge to anybody because it would be a countywide election anyway, so.
Oh, y'all forget.
Oh, okay. Did y'all hear Joey? I don't think I heard him. Say it again, Joey.
Well, if it was on a regular ballot, then there wouldn't be any charge to them anyway, because it was already a
It'll be all
countywide election
county.
going on. So
Yeah.
last time they ran it, it was a single, right?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. That changes, that's
Yeah, that changes, I
different
guess,
flavor.
if we
All
did
right,
it, we had-
we'll share.
No, let's take a vote on that.
You said we share.
Yeah. Here's what he said. If they put it with the cities, then they won't pay anything.
Well, the city would.
Okay. The county won't.
It'll be a county, well, yeah, you're right, the
It's
cities
city.
will, the
If they
cities
put it
will
on the
share.
county,
With all due respect, this is just me. And, you know, I believe in working with people, but why would we share when we get no benefit?
Not even with the road.
That's E-Splosh. That's not T-Splosh, that's not Splosh. All that money, 100% of that money goes directly to them.
It does.
So why would we split the cost? We're just being the good neighbors?
Well, Commissioner Frazier, they did share that, we do use them of their facilities during elections where
You do?
they don't charge us anything.
Yeah.
That cost is
Man,
very, that cost is very small.
Listen, don't shoot yourself in the foot now.
Hey, listen,
Go ahead, put a Band-Aid.
what facilities do we use?
Yeah. We use Lyman Hall,
Lyman Hall for,
Okay.
oh, you talking about for elections?
Yes.
Louis Frazier.
And you use the building,
Okay.
the old
county, well, I guess.
one where in Flemington, the
Did we play basketball over there too?
Nope.
No, Performing Arts Center.
former Arts Center, you use
Yeah.
that building. So there are about 3 or 4 facilities.
no
we use.
cost.
At no cost.
What does the state say about that?
I
About
don't
what?
know, sir.
Yeah,
Them
I
charge-
would love to be on the
Yeah.
other side of the table doing business with
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
I would love it. But, well, whatever y'all want to do.
I thought you just made the motion that let them do it themselves.
You seconded it, correct? There we go. There we go.
What? I mean, Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion. I think that it's their election.
Yeah.
If, there were 4 people on the city council that vacated, then they would pay for the whole thing there, that election. And this is for those people, specifically East Plosh, for everything from buildings, roads, to nice football fields. And I'm just saying, I think that, whatever, the election is a small portion, right? Getting there is the big problem, so.
But let me ask this, Mr. Chairman, there were members from the school board that ran in the election last month, wasn't it? I mean, districts 1, 2, and 3, didn't they have?
Yeah, they did.
Yes, they
Yeah,
did.
I
They
mean,
did.
so, I mean, they didn't have to, because we were having an election, and the presidential and the state and everything, they didn't have to, school board didn't have to share in that, did they?
Oh, but they had people
It's,
that.
it's a county election.
With opposition.
Yeah.
Well,
They didn't.
Yeah, I know, I feel the same way. I think you need to.
Yeah.
But I guess, what George said is that the last time East Splosh was
Single item.
on the ballot, I guess, it was a single, just East
It
Splosh.
was. It was a
and-
single.
And we split it.
Not that you have to this time, correct?
Huh?
Yeah, no, sir, I'm not
No, I'm
suggesting you
saying
have to
that's
this
what we
time,
did.
though.
You said, but
Right.
that's what happened when was it, 6 years ago?
Would have
7
been
years ago?
5 years ago.
5 years
I think it's it was originally a 5-year tax.
And it was just East Splosh, and we shared.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that let's let them, go ahead
Let them fight for
and
themselves.
fight it, because I've done looked at the budget and ours is looking pretty dwindling down, so.
I just caution you, Ms. Mosley just told us we're using their facilities, so they could very well come back and say, okay, here's your cost for using our facilities, so what have you gained?
It won't be that.
I think we should help them out. But, just somebody make a motion and we could move on to the next thing.
I made the motion.
We got a motion and a second.
Do y'all get a second?
And-
Got a motion and a second?
And that motion is,
So-
restate it, please,
But
sir.
I think that, that particular election for the Board of Education, it ought to be funded by the Board of Education.
Okay. All right, that's the motion on the floor. Any further discussion?
What's the cost? What was the cost for the last time?
We don't know.
Because what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
numbers don't lie. Regardless of what they would charge us for using other facilities, if it costs us this, but then it's costing us this to split the cost,
Yeah.
then so let me ask you a question. Do we have to vote on this tonight without having the numbers?
We can get the numbers from the elections.
So can we, I guess we already have a motion and second, other than it dying.
He can rescind it.
But what I'm saying is, where are the numbers? It's one thing to go off of emotions, feelings, what's right or what's wrong, but what are the numbers? How much will it cost for us to use, them charging us to use Lyman Hall, Button Gwinnett, and all the other facilities, compared to how much it costs for us to split the cost for splitting the election? Let's get numbers.
Okay.
I don't do business off of emotions. Let's get numbers. That's the only thing.
Rescind your motion, sir, until we get the information?
Go with your motion. Yeah, I mean, that's where I stand, that they need to, they need to fund that. There's gotta be a reason to save money, and that is one reason, is to support your East Blocks. So I'm sure that there's funds there, but I mean, I think that they need to do it on their own. I mean, I go by there and you see a brand-new football field that's been resurfaced, I know at least twice, and then everything else, so, and I can tell you, Commissioner Frazier just mentioned something about the tax, the sales tax, the tax failing in this last election. I can tell you there's a lot of people just looking at it and saying, if it says tax, I'm not voting for it.
All right, the
Whatever
motion.
y'all wanna do. Is there a second on the floor?
There was.
There was.
There was.
Let's vote.
All in favor of the motion as proposed, that's why I had you restate before we went on. Show of hands, please. All opposed? That motion,
Well, what, it's 3-3, wasn't it?
Yep.
That's 3-3.
Justin didn't vote.
You didn't give me a chance, and that's what I was saying. Well, cool. So, did that die? Did that motion die? Because it was split.
Well, we gotta see how you vote.
Well,
Wait a minute now.
I'm
quit-
saying.
quit
Okay.
changing
No.
Okay.
Now, no. I want to make a
come
motion.
on.
I want to make a motion.
Well, we got to vote first.
I abstain. Well, I guess if I abstain, that means, yeah. There we go.
It dies for lack of power.
Robert's rule, baby.
But I
Robert's rule.
didn't know you abstained.
Yes, I did.
I thought you were waiting to.
No. So now, Mr. Chair, I want to make a motion. I want to make a motion that we look into the numbers, how much it costs us to run, how much it costs us to have the individual East Blos election, and then how much it costs us for the schools that we use, and bring those numbers back, and then in my opinion, I think we can make a better educated choice.
Okay, so here's a challenge that's.
It's a deadline?
That's gonna, oh, absolutely, because in order to, the contract really needs to be in place in January, the first part of January, and you, correct me, you've been holding conversations with that, because they have to issue the call for the election. So after you do it, the Board of Elections has got to do it. The Board of Education's got to approve the contract. I don't know how quickly we can gather the information on the last E-Splosh 5 years ago.
How much it costs us to run the?
We can get you,
election?
we can definitely, what'll be comparable, though, is we can pull you the last countywide election, because it'll be the same.
And
Right.
Mr., while you're doing that, will you just see how much we pay for other facilities for their
We can get,
churches and?
we have that data. We can get you that data.
We
And
do.
we pay to use their facility?
Yes, ma'am. But the challenge is, since they don't charge us, we wouldn't know what they were charging us for those facilities.
Right, we'd have to get them to
Yeah, come up with the charge.
speculate what they might charge for use of those facilities.
But I guess what I was gonna say, regardless of what the cost is, that they wanna split it, don't they? Sure. Yeah, so. But, I mean, we voted, but we still don't know what's gonna happen. It's 3-3-1 right now, so.
So you want to make a subsequent motion, sir?
Make a motion that we do it again?
Yeah, and I thought I heard you leaning toward,
I voted.
Sharing.
I voted to help him.
yeah, well,
So make a motion again?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we split the cost for the election, the East Bluff election, with the Board of Education. That's my motion.
is there a second?
We don't know the price, the split.
That's what I'm just saying.
Right, but I think they were saying if by the time they get the cost and come back, it'll be January and it'll be.
We can have, we can have it, I mean, you know,
We
we're
can
gonna
vote.
be, folks, I don't know what the Board of
Yeah.
Election schedule is, Board of Education adjourns tomorrow, so.
Holiday status and
Yeah,
all
we're
that.
gonna, we can definitely, by the first meeting in January, have you the cost of a countywide election
Okay.
That's not too late.
from last time. I don't,
Will that give them time?
I'll have to, will that work for the
Yeah.
first meeting? Okay.
Did they
Okay.
just decide when they
That'll be
want
on
to
the
have it?
seventh, on the
It-
7th
they-
of January.
They can push it out.
7th of January, we'll vote again. Then you'll have the cost by then?
How do they decide what
That's
day
the only
to
thing I'm
have
saying.
it?
Well,
It's very difficult.
Come on.
as we were looking at, the dates for having special elections, they're only on even years. Next year's odd year. There's only one, what's that schedule, Joey?
Be two.
It's two
next
times a year that you can only do special elections.
On certain years.
On
So-
certain years.
So next year is 1 year that you can have two. You could have one in March or have one in November. But it may have something to do with when their expires too, and I don't.
It's a conflict of interest for me, you and Mary. I mean, normally you voted, we went to school over it.
All right, we got to get somewhere now. We got to get somewhere.
So it died for lack of a second.
Yeah,
Do you want to table that till January so we can bring back the costs for you? Okay.
Yes, that's where we are.
Okay.
I want you.
Go ahead and email those costs out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
I'm saying the cost is $25,000.
All right,
We have one executive session item,
Okay.
consultation with legal counsel. sir.
all right. I know. Well, before that, we have a commissioner who's completing his term. His last meeting is tonight, District 4, Efficient Commissioner Maxie R. Jones IV, who has served us very well, served this district very well, and we wanted to not have him walk away without us showing some appreciation for his service. Will you please stand, sir?
You got the check,
Commissioner Jones, thank you for the utmost for your service, sir. You've been diligent for your district, no doubt about it, no doubt about it, and we appreciate that. I want you to stay involved in our community, which we won't let you have the option not to stay involved in the community. But thank you so much for your service, serving District 4 with exemplary service. So on behalf of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners, this is your little takeaway. Put on the mantelpiece, and every now and then you glance up at it. Okay?
You can knock the dust off it.
Thank you very much.
Now, my mother would say, read it. She would. Maxie R. Jones IV, Commissioner District 4, thank you for your service to the citizens of Liberty County, Georgia, January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2024. Give him a hand, y'all.
Speak.
Yes, I can.
Hold on, let me get the photo out. Okay.
Speak
Commissioner
loud, they're
Stevens.
gonna record you.
Commissioner Stevens.
Ms. Stevens.
There you go. Yep.
Just
All right, there's everybody. 1, 2, 3.
Now speech.
I had promised myself not to get emotional. I expected something, but I didn't know what. I just expected a lot of well wishes, warm words, and I had prepared to speak myself, but now I'm at a loss of words. But being a part of this commission has been one of the great successes of my life. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I'll say this much, 50 years ago, a fella came up to my parents' house and he was campaigning. And at that time, my father let me ride with this guy around the community. I was about 9, 10 years old. And I rode around with him in the community, introduced him to some of the family, to the hood. And ended up, that same fellow, he became a county commissioner. He sat in the same seat. His name was Carlton Mogill. A few years fast forward, another guy campaigning came by the house, still living with mom and daddy, still a teenager. He used to see me around the community, past the house all the time. And his exact words were, "Hey boy, you need to come and join the commission. You need to start coming to some of these meetings. I think you'd make a good fit." I was 18, 19 years old. That guy, Mr. Chairman, I think sat in your seat, and his name was Martin Luther Kofor. Fast forward a few more years later, another guy come around the community campaigning, came to my house, "Hey, Maxie." I knew him from playing softball, and he was campaigning. He wanted to be a commissioner. And, "Hey man, here goes some signs, play some whatever." I put some of his signs out. I even went as far as to ride his magnetics on my car. That guy, he sat in the seat also. His name was Pat Bowens. So all of the guys that have sat in this seat before me, I looked up to them. These are guys that in my community, I didn't have a black commissioner to look up to. With the way that the districts are gerrymandered, District 4 was really not intended for me to sit in this seat. But the guys before me, the guys that I looked up to, led me to be here. And I thank them for having faith in me, the people that voted for me. I thank y'all for giving me this opportunity. Those of you that this time around didn't vote for me, which I was in the minority, maybe you have time the next 4 years to maybe see what you're gonna miss. And maybe I'll get a chance to darken y'all doorsteps again. But to each of my commissioners, Mr. Chairman, my fellow commissioners, I couldn't have done it without y'all. Y'all received me warm-hearted. Y'all treated me well. You treated me like family. I still got a hard nut to crack with Eddie, but
We all do.
everybody else treated me well. Eddie treated me well. The administrators treated me well. I take pride in knowing that I served with dignity. I served with integrity. I served with pride. I served with a love for my county, the constituents that I represented. And hopefully that, Mr. Chairman, you would like this one. I hope that I did with all that I tried to do, the things that I've learned, the networking that I've done, the people that I've met. I hope that I did make Liberty proud. Thank you all for receiving me as y'all have, and thank you all.
Commissioners, any comments?
No, I had the opportunity, Max, to work with your dad. I never have worked with, I don't know if that's a little brother or big brother out there or not, but when you came on, you was just like I was. You didn't really know if you was coming in or going out. But I've enjoyed it. I know it's been some troubling times, and in any way, shape, fashion, or form that I've done something wrong, then me and you meet down there on the pickleball court. But good luck to you.
And Mr. Chairman, what I want to say, Max and I go way back. My family, his family. He went to school with my middle brother, Mookie, between me and after Richard. But I did the best I could, Max, to keep Eddie at bay. I was the buffer between you and Eddie. So I did the best I could. But I mean, you know, we enjoyed having you. What some people may, when they're looking out, as the left side of the chairman, but I call it the right side of the chairman. I mean, you know, no one can make a board appointment quite like we did.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, every time, you know. So but I'll see you around. I got your number. I had your number before you came here. I still got your number. I consider you a friend and a brother, and we love you. And you know, I'll be in touch. Okay. All right, bro.
Absolutely.
Jackson? I can say one thing. You represent your people. There's one word that I will always remember hearing you say. Constituents. He would always say that. But you did represent your people. And like you say, when you get into an election, it's like playing a football game. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. And maybe you say you come back and try it again. Don't let this be your last time coming into government. I'm quite sure that you learned a lot, and those who you were able to help out there, they appreciate it. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Thank you.
Max, yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to serve with you. You've been a friend and a commissioner for the last 4 years, and it's been a trying time, but we made it through. And you see how it works, and you know what to go back out. If the Lord calls you to do that, then follow the footsteps. But please try to come back to the right side. We get it done, too. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Commissioner, I've had a distinct honor to work with you at the mill. I remember me being an SR, being a little floater, moving around the different departments, and you being in leadership there, you know, being the vice president over the union, showing me the the right way to do things, you know, and us having conversations then about SPLOS. You know, during that time, full transparency, you remember, you was like, man, I'm against SPLOS, this and that, and I was like, listen, just hear me out. And I remember us having long, deep conversations about SPLOS and the benefits of it in our community, and you recognize that. And it really changed your perspective. And that's what I've always respected about you. You know, for you to, we might not see eye to eye, and this is to my fellow commissioners. Every day, we don't agree, but we disagree respectfully. And that's what makes our commission one of the best commissions in the state. And also, I wanted, from the ACCG standpoint, with me being on the board of managers, I appreciate everything you did from the ACCG side with the training. And literally, we just had a conversation about that with the board of managers about making sure that our commissioners go to training. Because training, these classes really mean something. And I'd be on one side and I would see you. And I would see a lot of us. But it's important and it's imperative that we get trained. And from day one, since you were up here, you took ACCG training serious and you did everything you did. Again, positions come and go, but being a public servant will never leave you if it's in you. So I just wanted to tell you I appreciate you and I wish you well. Yes, sir. Thank you. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you again, sir, for your service. I cannot help but I'd be remiss if I did not say thank you for the service of the Jones family to Liberty County, Georgia. So you added to that, sir. You've enhanced that, so appreciate you. The difference you made. You're interwoven into the fiber of Liberty County, Georgia. There's no Liberty County without the contribution of the Jones family. So thank you for your part in making that happen.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you in your journey. All right, so we're good in order. Chair, entertain a motion to go into executive session for person, legal counsel.
Is there a second?
Somebody second?
Second.
Yeah. All in favor? All in favor?
They set a date for the swearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Chair, entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second. Second. All in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned.